My name is Emmett Vance. I'm 57 years old, and from my office on the 45th floor, I can see the whole of Atlanta spread out like a map of my own life. Down there, 28 years ago, I started in a rented cubicle with a second-hand computer and an eviction notice taped to my apartment door. Today, Vance and Associates has offices in 5 major cities. We pull in $40 million in annual revenue, and my name is on the masthead of a tower of glass and steel. I didn't get here by luck. I got here by working 18-hour days, by being smarter and faster than the next man, and by an ironclad determination to give my family the one thing I never had: security. I married Loretta when I was 25. She was a middle school English teacher who believed in me when I was just a collection of bad ideas and ambition. She dreamed of successful children, children who would conquer the world. We had 2. First, our son Mitchell, now 30, and then our daughter Natalie, who's 27. For years, we were the perfect picture. Vacations in Europe, a home in Miami Beach, and another in Buckhead, private schools, honors graduations. We had everything. Loretta passed 5 years ago, a cerebral aneurysm. It was fast, no warning. One day she was arguing with me about the caterer for Mitchell's upcoming wedding. The next, she was gone. The pain was a physical weight, a stone in my chest. But I had to keep going. For the kids, for the company, for the legacy Loretta and I built from nothing. Mitchell married Clarissa 6 months after the funeral. She was charismatic, beautiful, but something about her eyes always felt cold, like polished steel. My son, however, seemed to adore her, so I welcomed her into the family. Natalie married Evan 2 years later. He's a good man, an architect, honest and hardworking. I liked him from the start. After Loretta died, succession became more than a what if. It became a when. The answer was obvious. Mitchell, my son. He had the MBA from a top-tier school, he had the knowledge, and he had my blood. He was the natural choice. If you're watching this video, tell me where you're from or what time it is for you. Mitchell, I said, calling him into my office 3 years ago. The city lights were just starting to glitter behind me. I want you to start learning the business. My business. From the ground up. His eyes lit up. Dad, are you serious? That's incredible. I'm dead serious. But you're not getting a corner office. You're starting from the bottom, just like I did. You'll learn every department, every process. You'll earn it. I understand, he said, his voice firm. I promise I won't let you down. And he didn't. He started as a project assistant. He came in early, he stayed late. He asked smart questions and took notes on everything. He seemed genuinely hungry for it. I'm proud of you, I told him after 6 months. You're showing me you have what it takes. That means everything, Dad. Thank you. He climbed the ladder. Coordinator, project manager, associate director. Each promotion was earned with results. Satisfied clients, successful projects. 6 months ago, I decided it was time. Mitchell, it's time, I said, sitting across from him in my study at home. I'm naming you Chief Operating Officer. You'll be my right-hand man. In 2 years, when I turn 60, I'm handing you the CEO role, the whole thing. He was speechless. Dad, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Just keep proving you deserve it, son. Clarissa was ecstatic. Emmett, this is just marvelous, she gushed over dinner that weekend. Mitchell is finally getting the recognition he deserves, and we're finally getting the stability we need, to start a family. You're thinking of having children? I asked, pleased. Yes, she said, placing a hand on Mitchell's arm. But we wanted to wait until his position was secure. And now it is. Everything seemed perfect. My son was ascending, my legacy was secure. The company was in good hands for the next generation. But as I learned long ago in this business, appearances are always, always deceiving. The small things started about 3 months ago. Meetings on Mitchell's calendar that I knew nothing about. New clients signed without my final review. Contracts pushed through with a speed that felt hurried. Mitchell, I asked, holding up a file one Tuesday morning. Who is Summit Stone Corporation? I see you signed a $400,000 contract with them. He didn't look up from his screen. Oh yeah, new client, restructuring consulting. Everything's in order, Dad. Don't worry about it. I'd like to see the file. Sure, he said. I'll have it sent over this afternoon. The file never arrived. When I asked again, he waved me off. Dad, it's in process. We're still organizing the documents. I promise everything's fine. Trust me. And I did, because he was my son, because he'd earned that trust. Then more contracts appeared, companies I'd never heard of. Pacific Strategic Development, Integrated Innovation Group, generic, bland names paying massive sums for services so vague they were meaningless. Operational Process Optimization, Integrated Strategic Consulting. My accountant, Mr. Harrison, who'd been with me for 20 years, came to my office 2 months ago and shut the door. His face was gray. Emmett, I need to talk to you about some of these new transactions. What about them, Harrison? The ones Mitchell has been processing. Something's off. Money is flowing in from companies with no history, and then flowing right back out to equally unknown entities. It looks like we're being used as an intermediary. An intermediary for what? He hesitated, adjusting his glasses. I'm not sure. But the patterns, Emmett, they look like money laundering. That's impossible, I snapped. Mitchell wouldn't do that. You're probably right, he said, backing down immediately. But Emmett, you should investigate. Review those contracts yourself. Talk to the clients. Because if something illegal is happening, and it's under your name, you are the one who is legally responsible. I tried to talk to Mitchell, but he was always just too busy. Dad, I'm in a meeting. Dad, I have to run, client emergency. Dad, I'm swamped. Let's talk later. And I let it go. I foolishly let it go, because I didn't want to believe it. Until yesterday. I decided I needed answers, and I was going to get them. I planned to surprise him. No announcement. Just walk into his office and finally have the conversation I'd been postponing for weeks. I arrived at the firm at 11 in the morning. Mitchell's assistant looked up, surprised. Mr. Vance, I didn't know you were coming in today. Just a surprise visit. Is Mitchell in? Yes, sir. He's in his office with his wife. They're in a private meeting. Perfect. Don't announce me. I want to surprise him. I walked down the corridors I built, past employees who greeted me with respect. I felt a rush of pride. This was mine. I reached Mitchell's office. The door was slightly ajar. I was about to knock when I heard voices, soft but clear. It was Clarissa. Are you sure he won't notice? I froze. Then Mitchell's voice, a low, casual laugh. My dad's a clueless old man. He's so focused on retiring and playing golf, he can't see what's happening right under his nose. My heart hammered against my ribs. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Clueless old man. I leaned closer, my ear inches from the gap in the door. But it's his company, Mitchell, Clarissa continued. What if he checks the books? What if he finds the accounts? He won't find anything, Mitchell said, his voice laced with an arrogance I'd never heard before. Harrison is the only one who might suspect, and I already took care of him. I gave him limited access to the systems. He can't see the full transactions anymore. You are so smart, Clarissa cooed. Once this works, Mitchell went on, when we wash the $5 million, our commission will be $500,000, enough to buy that house you want in the Palisades. And then there are more contracts, more money. My blood ran cold. Eventually, he said, we can push Dad out completely, declare him incompetent if we have to, and take full control. And if he resists, then we use Plan B. We have enough documentation to incriminate him. Everything is in his name. If anything goes wrong, he's the one who falls. Not us. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they would hear it. My son. My son wasn't just stealing from me. He was planning to force me out, to destroy my mind in the eyes of the world. And if that didn't work, he was setting me up to take the fall, to go to prison for his crimes. And your sister? Clarissa asked. Does Natalie suspect anything? Naomi is naive, he scoffed. She only cares about her kids and her mediocre architect husband. She doesn't pay attention to the business. And even if my dad talks to her, he won't. He's too proud. He'd rather believe everything's fine than face the fact that his perfect son is a fraud. They laughed together. A light, happy sound that turned my stomach to acid. I backed away, silent. My hands were trembling so violently I shoved them into my pockets. I walked back down the corridors, seeing nothing, feeling no pride. Only a deep, sickening betrayal and a rage so cold it burned. I got to the parking garage, into the sanctuary of my car. I sat there for a long time, the engine off, just breathing. Clueless old man. My son was laundering money, using my firm, my name. He was planning to declare me incompetent. He was setting me up as the scapegoat. The pain was a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. But then the rage settled. It turned from a hot, blinding flash into something cold, hard, and strategic. If Mitchell thought I was a clueless old man, he had made the single biggest mistake of his life. I built an empire from dust. You don't survive 28 years in this business by being stupid. My son wanted a war. He was going to get one. I pulled out my phone. My hands were steady now. I didn't call the corporate lawyers. They were probably compromised. I called my college friend, Arthur Art Galloway, one of the most ruthless attorneys in Atlanta. Art, I need to see you. Tonight. It's about my company and my son. Emmett, what happened? Not over the phone. My house. 8 o'clock. And bring the best white-collar crime specialist you know. Because what I found, it's serious. I'll be there. I hung up and made a second call. A private investigator I'd used a decade ago, Robert Sterling. Discreet, efficient, and loyal only to his fee. Roman, I need a full investigation into my son, Mitchell Vance, and his wife, Clarissa. I want everything. Personal finances, contacts, bank movements, offshore accounts, everything. And it has to be secret. No one can know, especially not Mitchell. Understood, Mr. Vance. Give me 48 hours for a preliminary. I hung up and started the car. I drove home, poured a heavy measure of bourbon, and sat in my study. The same room where Loretta and I had planned our future. I looked at a photo of Mitchell at 10 years old, smiling, holding a baseball trophy. Where did that boy go? My phone rang. The screen flashed. Mitchell. I let it ring twice, then picked up. I made my voice tired, casual. Hey, son. Hey, Dad. My assistant said you stopped by the office today? You didn't look for me. Is everything okay? His voice was so warm, so full of fake concern, it made me sick. No, son. I just swung by to pick up some documents. I saw you were busy in your office, so I didn't want to interrupt. Ah, well, you should have come said hello. I always have time for you. A barefaced lie. I know. But don't worry. I'll see you tomorrow at the directors' meeting. I'll be there. And Dad, thank you for trusting me, for giving me this opportunity. I won't let you down. You already have. The words were on the tip of my tongue. You already have in the worst way possible. I know, son, I said. See you tomorrow. I hung up. The mask was in place. I wouldn't confront him. Not yet. If I did, he'd cover his tracks, destroy the evidence. I was going to do exactly what he was doing. I was going to act normal. I was going to pretend everything was fine. I was going to be the trusting, clueless old man. And while I was playing the part, I was going to gather the evidence, build my case, and prepare my counterattack. Mitchell had underestimated his father, and it was going to cost him everything. At 8 o'clock sharp, my doorbell rang. Art Galloway stood on my porch, and beside him, a woman in her 40s with a gaze so sharp, it felt like it could cut glass. Emmett, Art said, skipping the pleasantries. This is Alicia Jennings, former federal prosecutor specialized in financial crimes. I told her the general outline. She agreed to come. Thank you for coming, Ms. Jennings. Please call me Alicia, she said, her voice all business. Art tells me it's urgent, and it involves your son. I led them to my study and closed the door. I told them everything, every word I'd overheard. The clueless old man, the $5 million wash, the plan to have me declared incompetent, the setup to make me the fall guy. Alicia took notes on a tablet, her expression hardening. Mr. Vance, she said when I finished, this is as serious as it gets. If what you heard is true, your son is using your company for high-volume money laundering, and he has structured it to make you the scapegoat. You are the one who is legally responsible right now. But I didn't know, I protested. Ignorance is not a defense, Mr. Vance. It's your company, your name. Legally, it's your job to know. So what do I do? Art spoke up. First, we document everything. We need hard evidence of the fake contracts, the transactions, the offshore accounts. Second, we protect you. We have to legally separate your liability from Mitchell's. And third, you have a choice to make. Are you going to report your son, or are you going to try to handle this privately? What are the options for privately? Alicia answered. Confront him. Demand he stop, return the money, and resign? But that is extremely risky. If organized crime is involved, they don't just let their money go. Your son could be in danger. You could be too. The second option is you go to the authorities. You cooperate fully, provide all the evidence, and testify against your own son. The idea turned my stomach, but the alternative was letting him destroy me. I need to think, I said. But first, I need that evidence. I need to know exactly what he's done. I can help with that, Alicia said. I have contacts, the best forensic investigators in the business. We can conduct a covert audit, find every fake contract, trace every transaction. It'll take a week, maybe 2. Do it, I said. But it has to be absolutely secret. No one in the firm can know. Especially Mitchell. What about your accountant, Mr. Harrison? She asked. The one you said already suspects? I'll talk to him tomorrow, I said. I'll bring him to my side. I need an ally inside the company. The directors' meeting was that afternoon. It was me, Mitchell, two external directors who were more golfing buddies than watchdogs, and the general counsel, who was probably on Mitchell's payroll. Mitchell presented the quarterly numbers. They looked fantastic. Revenue up, expenses controlled, healthy margins. Excellent work, Mitchell, I said, playing the part of the proud father. These new clients are generating some very impressive results. Thank you, Dad, he said, smiling. I'm just applying what you taught me. The lie was so smooth, it was disgusting. Tell me more about them, I pressed. Summit Stone Corporation, Integrated Innovation Group. I'm not familiar with the names. They're mid-sized companies, he said, his voice level. Looking to optimize operations. Nothing extraordinary, but they pay well, and they're easy to manage. I'd like to meet the owners, I said, leaning back in my chair. Maybe we can expand the work we're doing with them, build a personal relationship. I saw it. A quick, tiny flash of panic in his eyes. He controlled it instantly. I don't think that's necessary, Dad. They're mid-level. They don't require the founder's attention. It would be inefficient. Even so, I like to know who we're in business with. Set something up. All right, he said, a little too quickly. I'll arrange it, but maybe in a month or so. They're very busy right now. Perfect. I look forward to those meetings. I knew there would be no meetings. Those clients were ghosts. But I wanted to apply pressure. I wanted to see how he reacted. After the meeting, he caught me by the elevator. Dad, why the sudden interest in those clients? Just curiosity, son. As CEO, I need to know our portfolio. Is there a problem? No, no problem at all, he said. I was just surprised. You've been so disconnected lately, letting me handle everything. Why the change? There's no change, Mitchell. I'm just doing my job. Is there an issue with that? No, it's just... I thought you were preparing to retire, to give me complete control. And I am, I said, letting the elevator door open. In 2 years. Not now. For now, I'm still the boss. And I want to be informed. About everything. Do you understand? Perfectly, Dad. The mask was slipping on both sides. The next morning, I arrived at the office at 6 a.m. before anyone else. I went straight to Harrison's office. He looked up, startled. Emmett? What a surprise. You don't usually come in this early. I shut the door. Harrison, I need to talk to you. About what you told me 2 months ago. The strange transactions. His expression became guarded. Did you investigate? Yes, and you were right. Something is wrong. Very wrong. But I need your help, and this conversation cannot leave this room. What do you need? I need full access. All the transactions, all the contracts, everything Mitchell has been handling for the last 8 months. And I need you to get it without him knowing. Harrison shook his head. Emmett, that's going to be difficult. Mitchell changed my system permissions 3 weeks ago. I no longer have full access. He told me he did, I said. He told Clarissa he took care of you. Harrison's face paled. What? He's laundering money, Harrison, millions, and he's setting me up to take the fall. He locked you out because you were the only one smart enough to see it. The fear in his eyes turned to a slow, burning anger. Can you regain that access? I pushed. Without him knowing? I can try, he said, his voice low. I'm still the system administrator. Technically, I have the authority to override his permissions, but if he checks the logs, he'll see I was in there. Do it anyway. Then delete the logs, modify them, whatever it takes. Because Harrison, if we don't stop this, it's not just me going to prison. It's the end of the firm. It's the end of your job, my job, everyone's. We all lose. It's that serious? It's worse. He looked at me for a long moment. The man I'd worked with for 2 decades. You've been a good man to me, Emmett. Fair. For 20 years. He nodded, his decision made. I'll help you. Give me 3 days. I'll get you everything. That night, Roman Sterling, the PI, called me. Mr. Vance, I have preliminary information, and it's troubling. Go on. Your son and daughter-in-law are living a lifestyle that far exceeds their combined salaries. I'm talking expensive trips, designer clothes, a new luxury car every year. And I've confirmed it. They just made a $1.6 million cash down payment on a house in the Pacific Palisades. 1.6. Cash, I repeated, the number settling like lead in my stomach. Where did they get that money, Mr. Vance? Not from any visible, legitimate source. Their personal bank accounts don't show those funds. This suggests hidden accounts, almost certainly offshore. I'm working on tracking those accounts now, but it's going to take more time. I'll probably need access to their computers or phones to find the details. Keep digging, Roman. And I need you to find out who the real clients are. Summit Stone Corporation, Integrated Innovation Group, all of them. I need to know who is behind those companies. Who is my son working for? There was a pause. I'll do it, he said. But Mr. Vance, if these clients are connected to organized crime, this investigation becomes dangerous. For you, for me, for everyone. I know, I said, looking out at the dark city. But I don't have a choice. I need the truth. 3 days later, Mr. Harrison came to my house late at night, a heavy coat on despite the mild weather. He looked like he hadn't slept. He held out a single encrypted flash drive. Here it is, he whispered, his hands shaking. Everything. All the contracts Mitchell signed in the last 8 months. All the transactions, all the money movements. It's all there. Did he suspect? I don't think so. I covered my tracks, deleted the logs like you said. But Emmett, you need to see this. It's worse than we thought. We plugged the drive into my laptop. For the next hour, he showed me. It wasn't just a few contracts. It was 23 separate shell companies. Fraudulent contracts totaling over $9 million. Money flowing in, money flowing out. Using Vance and Associates as a high-speed washing machine. And my signature, I said, my voice hoarse. It's on all of them. It's not your signature, Emmett, Harrison said, pointing. It's a forgery, a very good one. He has access to your digital signature, and he's been using it without your authorization. That's fraud, on top of everything else. He pulled up another file. And look at this. These transfers, 300,000 here, 200,000 there, all going into an account in the Cayman Islands, in the name of a company called MCH Consulting. MCH, Mitchell, Clarissa, Harrison. They're not just laundering money, Emmett. They're stealing a huge commission for themselves. The rage and fear were so potent, I felt dizzy. Make copies, I said. Multiple copies. Secure them. I already did, he said. This is the only one I brought out of the office. It's all there. I took the drive. Thank you, Harrison. You've saved me. You've saved the firm. The next morning, I met Alicia Jennings in a private room at her law firm. I handed her the drive. "This is it. Harrison got it all." She took it, her expression grim. "My team will get on this immediately. We'll have a full report by morning. Don't contact Mitchell. Don't do anything. Just wait for my call." I spent the day in a fog, pacing my house. This was it. The proof. Alicia called me at 7 a.m. the next morning. Her voice was ice. "Emmett, we have a problem. A big one." "What? What's wrong?" "The drive. My team plugged it into our secure system. It's fried. It was remotely wiped the second we accessed it." "What? How?" Harrison said. "Mitchell must have seen Harrison's access logs before he could delete them. He must have installed a dead man's switch, a logic bomb. He knew someone had the data, and he set a trap. The second that drive was plugged into an unfamiliar network, poof, it's gone, Emmett. The drive is a piece of useless plastic. All of it, the evidence is gone." I sank into my chair. Gone. All of it. The contracts, the transfers, the proof. "He knows," I whispered. "He knows I'm onto him. He suspects." Alicia's voice snapped through the phone, pulling me back. "He doesn't know it was you. He just knows someone breached his system. He's probably blaming Harrison, but he can't be sure." "What about Harrison? Is he in danger?" "He's terrified," I said, thinking of the man's shaking hands. "Mitchell's going to fire him, or worse." "Harrison needs to stay put," Alicia commanded. "If he runs, Mitchell knows for sure. Tell him to go to work, act normal, and plead incompetence if he's confronted. Tell him Mitchell's the one who locked him out of the system. How could he possibly have accessed anything? He needs to play dumb." "And us? What do we do? We have nothing." "We've lost our shortcut, Emmett, not the war," she said. "He destroyed the copy. He didn't destroy the source data. The transactions still exist at the banks. The shell company registrations still exist. He's just forced our hand. We have to do this the hard way, and we have to do it fast, before he can shred the originals." Our strategy shifted overnight. We no longer had the element of surprise. We were in a race against a man who now knew he was being hunted. "I'm drafting emergency subpoenas," Alicia said in a hurried meeting at Art's office. "We're going to the banks for every transaction from those 23 shell companies. We'll get the wire transfers, the account opening documents. It's slower than the flash drive, but it's ironclad." "And I'll put Roman sterling on the shell companies," I said. He was already looking. Now he needs to find the other players, the people Mitchell is laundering for. We need to know how dangerous these people are. "This just got a lot more expensive, Emmett," Art warned. "I don't care about the money," I said. "He has me backed into a corner. He's threatening my company and my name. We go after him with everything we have." The next week was agonizing. We were flying blind, waiting for the banks to comply with the subpoenas. Every day I went to the office and played the part of the happy, disconnected father. Mitchell was different. He was watchful, wary. "Dad," he said, catching me in the hallway, "I had to let Harrison go." I feigned surprise. "What? Why? He's been with us for 20 years. "He's getting sloppy," Mitchell said, his eyes cold. "Major security breaches on his end. Can't have that. I'm promoting his deputy. She's much sharper." He'd done it. He'd fired the one man who tried to help me. He was cleaning house. He was consolidating his power. And then he made his move. He called me on a Friday evening. His voice was warm again. The casual confidence returned. He thought he'd won. He thought he'd plugged the leak and destroyed the evidence. "Dad?" Clarissa and I were thinking, we'd love to have you over for dinner tomorrow night. Just you. Clarissa's making your favorite. It's time we discussed accelerating your retirement. There it was, the end game. He thought I was unarmed. He thought I was the same clueless old man. I'd love to, son, I said. Sounds wonderful. I hung up and immediately called Alicia. He's making his move. Dinner tomorrow. He's going to try and push me out. Okay, she said, her voice tight. This is our shot. But Emmett, you're walking in there empty-handed. The bank records aren't in yet. The subpoenas are still being processed. You have no hard evidence. You are bluffing. So what do I do? You get him to confess, she said. You get him to admit what he's doing. You get him to threaten you. You get it all on tape. You want me to wear a wire? It's the only way. He thinks he's won. He's arrogant. He'll boast. And you'll get everything we lost on that drive, straight from his own mouth. I have a device. It's a button for your shirt. Undetectable. What if he doesn't talk? Then you walk out. But if you get that recording, Emmett, you win. We'll have him. The next afternoon, Alicia met me in a coffee shop downtown. She handed me a small box. Inside was a device the size of a shirt button. It adheres to the inside of your shirt, she explained. Invisible. It has a 4-hour battery and transmits live to a receiver. You'll leave the receiver in your car. My team will be in a van down the street, listening to every word. If you're in physical danger, if he gets violent, you say the safe word. Safe word? Yes. Loretta. Say, I wish Loretta was here to see this, or anything with her name. My team will be at the door in 30 seconds. Got it? Got it. Emmett, she said, her eyes serious. You're walking into the lion's den. He's desperate. He's already threatened to declare you incompetent. He's capable of anything. Be careful. He's my son, I said. No, she corrected me. He's a criminal who happens to be your son. Don't forget that. I went home and dressed. I carefully affixed the button to my shirt. I looked in the mirror. I couldn't see it. All I saw was a father going to his son's house for dinner. All I saw was a clueless old man. I arrived at their new, opulent Brentwood house at 8 o'clock sharp. The house I'd helped them buy with a $200,000 loan they never repaid. Now I knew why. Clarissa opened the door, a brilliant smile painted on her face. It didn't reach her eyes. Emmett, so good to see you. Come in. Thanks, Clarissa. It smells delicious. I made your favorite, she beamed. Smoked brisket and collard greens. A real traditional dinner. Sounds wonderful. Mitchell appeared from the kitchen, holding 2 glasses of wine. Dad, welcome. Here, it's that high-end Cabernet you like. I took the glass. My hand was perfectly steady. But I didn't drink. Not yet. Thanks, son. But you know me. I don't drink much before dinner. Fills me up. Oh, sure. Well, whenever you're ready. We sat in the cavernous living room, all minimalist white furniture and expensive art. We made superficial conversation. The weather, the markets, nothing important. But the tension was a third person in the room. We were both waiting for the main event. Dinner was served. I ate, complimenting Clarissa on the food. I played my part. The proud, slightly disconnected father, happy to be doted on. Finally, after dessert and coffee, Mitchell clapped his hands together. Dad, why don't we go to my study? Talk man to man, father and son. This was it. Clarissa discreetly disappeared. I followed him into his study. It was elegant, with built-in bookshelves. a massive mahogany desk, and leather armchairs. All of it bought with my money. Stolen money. Mitchell closed the doors, shutting us in. He sat behind his new desk, the picture of the young, successful executive. "Dad, thank you for coming," he started, steepling his fingers. "I know I've been busy lately, distant maybe, but it's because I've been working on something important. For us, for the family, for the legacy." "I'm listening, Mitchell." "I've been thinking about the future, about the firm, and about your retirement. And Dad, I think you should accelerate it." "Why?" "Because you deserve it," he said, spreading his hands. "You've worked for 28 years without a break. You built something incredible. Now it's time for you to enjoy it. Travel, live. Let the next generation take the wheel." "But we agreed on 2 years," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "I know. But why wait? I'm ready now. I've proven I can handle it. The numbers are better than ever. Clients are satisfied. Everything is running perfectly." "And what exactly are you proposing?" "That you transfer the CEO role to me. Now. This quarter. You can stay on as chairman of the board. Have a voice, but no daily operational responsibilities. You get to enjoy your money while you're still young enough to spend it." "It sounds reasonable," I said, nodding slowly. "But why the urgency?" "It's not urgency, Dad. It's opportunity. I have plans, big plans, to expand the firm, new markets, new services, but I need complete autonomy to execute them. As long as you're CEO, I need your approval for every little thing, and it slows things down." "I see." "And do these big plans," I asked, leaning forward slightly, "do they include the new clients you've been bringing in? Summit Stone Corporation? Integrated Innovation Group?" I saw that flicker in his eyes again. Surprise. And this time, fear. He controlled it. "Yes, exactly," he said, a little too fast. "Those clients are the future. Tech startups, private equity. They need intensive, discreet consulting, very profitable. But they require agile decision-making. It's just easier if I have total control." Discretion. Why would they need so much discretion? Because they're private companies, Dad. They don't want competitors knowing their reorganization plans. It's normal in our business. Of course. But Mitchell, as CEO, I have the right to know all our clients, to review all the contracts. Don't I? Of course, he said. And you can. Whenever you want. Perfect. I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. Then tomorrow, 10 a.m. I want a meeting with the representatives from Summit Stone Integrated Innovation and the other. What is it? 21 companies you've brought in. The silence in the room was absolute. Dad, that's going to be impossible to coordinate on such short notice. Why? I turned to face him. If they're legitimate clients, they should be eager to meet the founder. Unless there's a problem. There's no problem. It's just, some of them prefer to communicate only with me. That's the personal relationship they hired. But I'm the founder, the CEO. My presence should be an honor for them. Unless they don't actually exist. Mitchell shot to his feet. The mask of the calm executive shattered. "How dare you?" he snarled, his face turning red. "How dare you accuse me of something like that?" "It's not an accusation if it's true, Mitchell. And I know the truth. I know exactly what you've been doing." "You're crazy," he spat. "You're paranoid. Maybe Harrison was right. Maybe you are losing your mental faculties." Mr. Harrison said nothing of the sort. In fact, he was the one who alerted me, the one who showed me the suspicious transactions. This was my bluff. I was betting he didn't know Harrison, and I had spoken before he was fired. Harrison? That old fool. He was loyal, which is more than I can say for you. I know about the 23 fake contracts, Mitchell. I know about the $9 million you've laundered. I know about your MCH consulting account in the Cayman Islands where you've been stashing your commissions. I know everything. The color drained from his face. The rage was gone, replaced by pure, cold panic. You don't have anything, he stammered. You're inventing this. I have everything, I lied. Contracts, transactions, bank records, and most importantly, I have your voice. The recording of you and Clarissa, right in your office. The one where you planned how to get me out, how to declare me incompetent. The one where you called me a clueless old man. He sank into his chair, defeated. Dad, he whispered. I can explain. There is no explanation, Mitchell. Treason, fraud, money laundering, forgery. Do you have any idea how many years in prison you're facing? Dad, please, you don't understand. I didn't have a choice, he pleaded, his voice breaking. I was in debt. Bad people, Dad. Dangerous people. They offered me a way out. Use the company to wash their money, and they'd forgive my debts. I didn't have a choice. There is always a choice, I roared. You could have come to me. You could have asked for help. But instead, you chose to use me, to destroy me, and to set me up as the fall guy. I didn't want to involve you. You already did. Everything is in my name, my signature, my firm. If the authorities discover this, I go to prison, not you. I'm sorry, Dad, he sobbed. I'm so sorry. But we can fix this. We can stop, return the money, close the accounts. No one has to know. It's too late for that, I said, my voice like ice. Because I already know. And I am not allowing this to continue. What? What are you going to do? What I should have done the moment I heard you. Protect myself. Protect my company. And that means reporting you. You can't, he shrieked. I'm your son. You are a criminal who happens to share my blood, and that does not give you the right to destroy me. The study door burst open. Clarissa ran in, her face a mask of terror. She had clearly been listening from outside. Elijah, please, she begged, rushing to Mitchell's side. Please think about your family, your legacy. If you report Marcus, the scandal will destroy the firm. Everything you worked for will disappear. Is that what you want? What I want is justice, I said, and protection for myself and the legitimate firm I built. Not this criminal enterprise you two created. We're family, Elijah, she pleaded. Family protects each other. Family forgives. Where is your compassion? My compassion died when I heard your husband call me a clueless old man, I said. It died when I found out you planned to declare me incompetent. It died when I understood you would watch me go to prison for your crimes and not bat an eye. Mitchell's demeanor changed. The pleading vanished. The sobs stopped. His eyes hardened into something I'd never seen before. Dad, he said, his voice a low growl. If you do this, if you report me, I'm dragging you down with me. I'll say you knew everything. I'll say you planned it, and that I was just following your orders. Go ahead. Try, I said. It's your word against the evidence of your forgery, your manipulation of the systems, your secret offshore accounts, and your conspiracy recorded in your own office. The people we're working with, he said, his voice dropping. They won't let this get out. They will do whatever it takes to protect their operation, including hurting whoever is necessary. Even you. I stared at him. Are you threatening me with organized crime? Your own father? I'm warning you. If you expose this, not only am I in danger, you are too. Natalie is too. The whole family. That was it. The line. You threaten my daughter, I said, my voice barely a whisper. You threaten Natalie. I stood up and walked toward the door. Mitchell moved, blocking my path. You're not leaving, he said. Not until you destroy that evidence. Not until you promise me you won't say anything. Get out of my way, Mitchell. No! Not until you promise. He grabbed my arm, hard. His fingers dug into my bicep with a desperate animal strength. You're not going to ruin my life, he yelled, his face inches from mine. I won't let you. Let go of me now. I pushed him, gently at first. He shoved back, grabbing me with both hands. You're not going anywhere, old man. That was the last straw. I brought my hand up and shoved him, hard, in the chest. He stumbled back, tripping over an armchair and crashing to the floor. Clarissa screamed, Mitchell, stop it! You're making it worse! He scrambled to his feet, rage in his eyes, ready to come at me again. But I was already out the door. I walked fast through their ridiculous stolen house. I didn't run. I got to my car, my hands trembling, not with fear, but with a white-hot rage and a bottomless, aching pain. That thing in the study, that wasn't my son. It was a stranger, a dangerous, desperate stranger. I sat in the car, my heart pounding. I checked the button on my shirt. It was still there. I drove a block away, pulled over, and retrieved the receiver from under the seat. I hit playback. I'll drag you down with me. Natalie is too. You're not going anywhere, old man. It was all there, every word, the admissions, the conspiracy, the threats. I had him. I didn't go home. I drove straight to a secure hotel Art had on standby. The first call I made was to my daughter. Natalie, listen to me. I need you and Evan to pack a bag. Right now. I'm sending a car for you. I'm moving you to a hotel. Dad? What's wrong? You sound... What's happening? I can't explain over the phone. Just do it. Please. You are not safe in your home right now. The panic in her voice was immediate. Dad, you're scaring me. Is it Mitchell? Just pack. I'll explain everything in an hour, I promise. I called Alicia. I have it. I have it all. And he threatened Natalie. He threatened my daughter. I heard, she said. We all did. The team is pulling the recording now. Where are you? I'm at the hotel. I'm moving Natalie and Evan here. Good. Don't go home. Don't go to your office. Art is arranging a meeting with the district attorney for first thing in the morning. 9 a.m. We're ending this. An hour later, Natalie and Evan burst into my hotel room. Dad, what is going on? There was a private security car outside our house. I sat them down, and I told them everything, from the first conversation I overheard, the clueless old man, the money laundering, the forged signatures, the confrontation, the physical assault, and the threat against her. Natalie cried, silent, horrified tears. Evan just sat there, his face pale, his arm around my daughter. I can't believe it, she whispered. Marcus. He was always the golden boy, the perfect brother. How could he do this? I don't know, honey, I said, my voice rough. But he did. And now I have to protect us. What are you going to do? I'm reporting him. Tomorrow morning. And the authorities, they're going to arrest him. I want you to be prepared. The media will be all over this. Our family name is going to be dragged through the mud. Evan finally spoke, his voice firm. Mr. Vance, Emmett, is the risk from organized crime real? Should we be worried? Possibly, I said. That's why you're here. We're asking for protection for both of you until the people he's involved with are arrested. And the company? Natalie asked, wiping her eyes. The company will survive, I said, my voice hard as steel, because I'm going to prove that this was a criminal operation run by Mitchell without my knowledge. I'm going to clean house, and I'm going to rebuild. And Mitchell? She asked, her voice small. Are you ever going to forgive him? I looked at my daughter, her face stained with tears for the brother she thought she knew. I don't know, Naomi. Honestly, I don't know. The next morning, at 9 sharp, I walked into the district attorney's office flanked by Art and Alicia. We were shown into a conference room where D.A. Wilcox, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s, was waiting with 2 other prosecutors. Mr. Galloway, Ms. Jennings, she said, nodding. Mr. Vance, I've been given the broad strokes. Let's see what you have. For the next 3 hours, we laid it all out. Alicia presented the preliminary findings from the shell companies. We played the recording. When Wilcox heard the threat against Natalie, her face tightened. He threatened a civilian, she said, his own sister. She listened to the entire recording, the confession of the laundering, the admission of the offshore account, the plan to declare me incompetent, the threat to frame me, the assault. When it was over, she sat in silence for a full minute. Mr. Vance, she said finally, this is more than enough to proceed. We will be issuing arrest warrants for your son, Mitchell Vance, and his wife, Clarissa Vance, and anyone else we identify as an accomplice. When? I asked. Tonight. A coordinated operation. We'll hit his home and his office at the same time. We don't want them having time to flee or destroy a single piece of paper. And, do I face any charges? Not at this time, Wilcox said. Your cooperation, this recording, and the evidence that you were a victim of fraud all protect you. But Mr. Vance, you will have to testify, in open court, against your son. I know, I said. I will. I also need to warn you, she added. The people your son was laundering for won't be happy. We're going to offer you and your daughter full protection starting now. But you have to take it seriously. I will, I said. I spent that day in the hotel room, which had become a command center. Art and Alicia were coordinating with the DA's office. Natalie and Evan were in the adjoining suite, with a security guard posted outside the door. I just sat by the window, watching the city, and waited. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was Alicia. It's done, she said. Teams went in simultaneously. They have Mitchell and Clarissa in custody. They're being processed right now. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. It was done. They're taking them to the county lockup, she continued. Bail hearing will be tomorrow, but the DA is recommending no bail, given the flight risk and the organized crime connection. They're not getting out. I hung up and poured myself a drink from the hotel minibar. The relief was immediately replaced by a wave of something else, a deep, profound sadness. The news exploded the next morning. Son of prominent CEO arrested for $9 million money laundering scheme. Vance and Associates at Center of Fraud Investigation. Father reports son in shocking betrayal. My phone lit up. Reporters, clients, friends. I ignored them all. Alicia released a single statement. Mr. Emmett Vance is a victim in this case. He uncovered the fraud, reported it to the authorities, and is cooperating fully with the investigation. It was all I had. 2 days later, Mitchell's court-appointed lawyer called Art. Mitchell was desperate to see me. "Don't go," Alicia advised. "You're not obligated. It's emotionally dangerous. He's just going to try and manipulate you." "I know," I said. "But I have to. I have to see him. One last time. I have to understand if there's anything left of my son, or if he's truly gone forever." "Then I'm coming with you," she said, "as your counsel and as a witness." The county lockup was as cold, gray, and soul-crushing as I'd imagined. The smell of disinfectant and despair hung in the air. Alicia and I sat in a small, glass-walled visiting room. 30 minutes, maximum," she warned. "He says one word that sounds like a threat, one word of manipulation, and we are walking out." "Understood." Mitchell was led in, flanked by 2 guards. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit. He was unshaven with deep, dark circles under his eyes. He looked broken. The arrogance, the confidence, it was all gone. He sat down opposite me, the thick glass between us. He picked up the phone receiver. I picked up mine. "Dad," he said, his voice cracking. "Thank you for coming. I didn't think you would." "I almost didn't," I said. "Why did you come?" "Because despite everything, I still need an answer. I need to understand how we got here. How my son became this." "Dad, I didn't want this to happen," he sobbed. "Not this way." "What way did you want it to happen, Mitchell? The way where I go to prison in your place? The way where I'm declared incompetent so you can steal my company?" "No, I thought you'd never find out. That I could manage it all. And then when I had control, I'd clean it up. Push the bad guys out. Make the firm legitimate again." "And you expect me to believe that lie?" "It's the truth. I was trapped. I owed them money, a lot of money. And the MCH account? The $500,000 you and Clarissa skimmed? Was that part of being trapped?" His face fell. He had no answer. "I know," he whispered. I got carried away. The money was so easy. And Clarissa, she wanted things. A bigger house, trips. I wanted to give them to her. "And what about being the son I deserved?" I asked. "The honest man your mother and I tried to raise?" Tears streamed down his face. "I failed, Dad. I failed at everything. I'm sorry." "Are you sorry, Mitchell? Or are you just sorry you got caught?" "I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry I betrayed you. I'm sorry I called you a clueless old man. I'm sorry I planned to push you out. I'm sorry. And if I hadn't found out? If I'd stayed the clueless old man? Would you have stopped?" The silence stretched. He stared at his hands. "I don't know," he finally admitted, his voice a bare whisper. "Probably not. I got used to the money. I didn't want to give it up." "Then you're not sorry for what you did," I said. "You're sorry you lost." "That's not true. You laughed at me, Mitchell. You planned to have me committed. You structured this whole thing so I would be the one to go to prison. That's not fear. That's not being trapped. That's monstrous." He was sobbing openly now. "What can I do? What can I do to fix this?" "Tell the truth. Tell the DA everything. Give them the names of the criminals you were working for. Help them dismantle the whole operation and accept the consequences. And if I do that, if I cooperate, will there be a chance for us someday?" I looked at the broken man on the other side of the glass. "I don't know, Mitchell. Honestly. I don't know if I can ever forgive this, but if you cooperate, if you show real change, if you serve your time, maybe." Maybe we can talk, as two people. He nodded, clinging to that. Dad, he said as the guard motioned for him. There's one more thing. What? It's Clarissa. Dad, she's pregnant. 2 months. I'm going to be a father. My heart stopped. A child. A grandchild. And you're telling me this now? I asked, my voice rising. Another manipulation? To make me feel sorry for you? To make me drop the charges? No, the charges can't be dropped, I know that. I'm telling you because that baby is innocent, and he shouldn't suffer for my mistakes. And if you can, maybe you can make sure he's okay. Not for me, not for Clarissa, for the baby. I stood up, my hands shaking with rage at this final cruel move. I will think about it, I said, my voice cold. But I am not rescuing Clarissa. I am not paying her bills. If I help that child, it will be on my terms, and my terms alone. I turned and walked out, Alicia right behind me. The next few weeks were a blur of legal meetings and horrified phone calls from clients. The DA was building their case. Mitchell, seeing no way out, had agreed to cooperate, to tell them everything about his criminal partners. Then, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Vance? My name is Cynthia. I'm Clarissa's mother. My blood chilled. I'd met the woman a few times. She was as cold and grasping as her daughter. What do you want? I asked. I need to see you. Please, it's about Clarissa. It's about the baby. I was about to hang up. I assumed she wanted bail money or for me to pay for her daughter's legal fees. I have nothing to say to you or your daughter. Please, she said, her voice cracking. I'm not asking for money. I have something for you. Something that can help you. And something that can protect my daughter. Curiosity and the mention of help made me agree. I met her in a public coffee shop, with Art sitting at a nearby table just in case. Cynthia looked terrible. She was pale, her hands trembling as she clutched her purse. Mr. Vance. Elijah, she said. I'm not going to pretend I liked you, and I know you never liked me. But this is about my grandchild. Get to the point. Clarissa. She's terrified. Not just of prison, of them. The people Mitchell was working with. She should be. You don't understand. She reached into her purse and slid a small black ledger across the table. Mitchell. He's a fool. He thought he was skimming a little off the top. But Clarissa, she was skimming from him and from them. She set up her own secret accounts. She was planning to take the money and run from Mitchell and his partners. I opened the ledger. It was a handwritten list of names, account numbers, and amounts. It was a second set of books. She knew they'd kill her if they found out, Cynthia whispered, tears in her eyes. She was terrified of them. She gave this to me 2 weeks ago. If anything happens to me, Mom, give this to the police. It's the only thing that will keep me alive. She knew she'd be caught. She was just building her leverage. I looked at the ledger. This wasn't just a list of commissions. This was a list of the real clients, the ones at the top, the ones Mitchell was so scared of. This is invaluable, I said, understanding. I'm giving this to you, not the DA, she said, because I need a promise. This is her only card. Use it. Give it to the DA, but use it to get her protection, to get her a reduced sentence. She'll testify against all of them. Just protect my daughter. Protect my grandchild. I looked at this woman I had so thoroughly despised. She was just a mother, terrified for her child. I'll give this to the DA, I said, sliding the ledger into my coat. I will tell them the context. It will help her. I promise. She collapsed in her chair, sobbing with relief. The unexpected ally. The ledger from Cynthia changed everything. It gave the DA the keys to the kingdom. They now had the names of the 5 main players in the organized crime ring. The trial was a public humiliation. I had to testify for 2 full days. I had to sit in that box and, under oath, recount every detail. Overhearing my son, the clueless old man, the confrontation, playing the recording for the entire courtroom to hear. "Mr. Vance," the prosecutor asked, "can you identify the man in this recording? The one threatening you and your daughter?" I looked across the room at Mitchell, sitting at the defense table, his head in his hands. "Yes," I said, my voice clear. "It is my son, Mitchell Vance." It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but I did it. Mitchell was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Thanks to his cooperation and the bombshell of Cynthia's ledger, Clarissa testified against the entire ring. She was sentenced to 8 years, but with the pregnancy and her crucial testimony, the sentence was suspended to house arrest and 5 years of probation. The 5 men she and Mitchell identified were all arrested. Their operation was dismantled. They were all facing decades. The firm survived. Barely. We lost 30% of our clients in 3 months. The scandal was too much. The association with crime was toxic. But the clients who stayed, the ones who had been with me for decades, were loyal. They knew me. They knew I was a victim, not a perpetrator. I started over. I hired a new COO, a sharp woman from outside the company with no family ties and impeccable credentials. I promoted Mr. Harrison, who I'd rehired the day after Mitchell's arrest, to Chief Financial Officer, with a massive raise. And Natalie, my daughter, stepped into the void. She quit her part-time job and came to the firm. "Dad, you need help," she said. "Not just with the business, with the reputation. Let me help you rebuild." She had a fire I'd never seen. She took over public relations, client outreach. She was smart, she was tough, and she had an integrity that reminded me so much of her mother. She was my right hand. I wasn't just rebuilding a company. I was training my true successor. 6 months after the trial, Clarissa gave birth to a boy. She named him Julian. She called me from the hospital. Her voice was small, tired. "Elijah, I know you probably hate me, but the baby is here. He's healthy. He's beautiful. And I'm scared. I'm all alone. But I'm going to do this right. I'm going to be a better mother than I was a wife." I was silent for a long time. "Clarissa," I said finally, "about the baby, about Julian. I want to meet him, but on my terms, not yours." "I understand," she whispered. "Whatever you decide, I'll respect it." I visited them 2 months later in the small 2-bedroom apartment she was living in, a far cry from the Brentwood mansion. Julian was asleep in a simple bassinet. He was small, innocent, and completely oblivious to the disaster he'd been born into. "He's beautiful," I said. "He looks like Mitchell," she said, her voice sad. "But I hope he has your heart, your strength. That will depend on you, Clarissa, on how you raise him." "I know. I'm in therapy. It's mandatory for my probation, but I need it. I need to understand why I did what I did." We established an agreement. I would visit Julian once a month. I would set up a trust for his education. I would provide basic financial support, diapers, formula, necessities, but nothing extravagant. But Clarissa, I warned her. If you try to manipulate me once, if you use that boy as a tool to get money, if you go back to your old habits, it's over. No second chances. Do you understand? Perfectly, she said, her eyes clear. And I won't. This child deserves better. He deserves a grandfather. I won't be the one to ruin that. I celebrated my 59th birthday with a small dinner at my home. Natalie and Evan were there. Mr. Harrison and his wife, Art and Alicia, who had become close friends through the ordeal, and Clarissa. She'd gotten a job as a paralegal. She was quiet, humbled, and focused. She was there with Julian, who was now 2.5 years old, running through my garden, chasing butterflies, completely unaware of his family's dark, complicated history. It's beautiful, Natalie said, coming to stand beside me watching her nephew. To see new life. So much innocence after all that pain. It is, I agreed. A reminder that families can be broken, but they can also be rebuilt. Differently, but rebuilt. Have you forgiven him? She asked quietly. Bo Mitchell. I looked at Julian, who had tumbled on the grass and was laughing. Not completely, I said. Maybe never, but I've accepted what happened, and I've decided to focus on the future, on Jaden, on you, on the things I can control. Do you think he'll really change? I don't know, I said. He has 10 more years in prison, plenty of time to think, to grow, or to become bitter. That's up to him. My life doesn't revolve around him anymore. That night, after everyone had left, I sat in my study. The same room where I had processed the betrayal, where I had mourned the family I thought I had. But I wasn't mourning anymore. I looked at a photo from the dinner. Natalie laughing. Julian, his face smeared with cake. Even Clarissa, a small, genuine smile on her face. I understood something fundamental. The family you have isn't always the family you need. And when that family betrays you, when it tries to destroy you, you have the right to rebuild. You have the right to choose who deserves to be in your life. My son called me a clueless old man. He underestimated me. He mistook my trust for stupidity. He tried to destroy me, and when that failed, he tried to set me up to take the fall for his own crimes. But I was smarter. I was more prepared, and when the time came, I did not hesitate to defend myself. I lost a son, but I gained something more valuable. I gained my freedom, my dignity, and my peace. I gained a daughter who proved to be my true legacy. And I gained a grandson who I will teach, from day one, the value of integrity. The clueless old man won, and at the end of the day, that is all that truly matters. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and consider subscribing. You can also drop any comment below, even just one word. Maybe tell me where you're watching from, or what time it is right now. Sometimes one word is enough to say you were here.